Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to be doing a brief stock analysis on 3M, and just so you know, this is not going to be any kind of deep dive into their financials, but more so me just giving my opinion on the company and an outlook for the industry. And I'm actually doing a video very similar to this one on all of the companies in the Dow 30, so be sure to come and check that out if you are interested in. You do enjoy the video. And I like to start off by taking a look at the 5-year chart just so you can get a longer term growth perspective on the company, because that's really what I focus on. And here you can see they're up only about 8% in the last 5 years, which is really not great. They did really well from 2016 to 2018, and then they've kind of slumped since then and stagnated in the last year. And then if you take a look at their stock year to date, it went down to about $114 in March when the overall market was down, and then they're back up to $170 now, but haven't quite reached what they were at the beginning of the year in February at $182, which isn't great. But if you compare that to GE, which is considered to be one of their biggest competitors, they're doing a lot worse. They're still less than $8 compared to their previous high at about $13. So they're having some other problems, but just at a quick comparison from year to date, they're definitely doing a lot better. And then if you take a look at the year-over-year revenue and earnings, they're really steady with a little bit of decreased earnings in 2019, and then you're probably going to see even less in 2020, which you've already seen in the first couple of quarters. But you really expect to see this because this really doesn't have any great growth perspective. In my opinion, it's just kind of a safer dividend stock. And then a lot of people, when they think about 3M products, they just think of, buying some packing tape or something similar at the store, but they actually do a lot more than that. They're involved in safety and industry, transportation, electronics, hence GE, as well as healthcare. A lot of people just think about industrial products and safety products, but if you keep reading that sentence down below, they're actually involved in so much more. And just a couple of quick things to note here. I just wanted to mention it's a $100 billion company, but I just want you to think about this. It's a massive company in the Dow 30, but is it really justifiable? Because I really don't think they're seen as a major innovative company anymore. They do have tens of thousands of employees and probably several hundred products, but I really don't see a long-term growth perspective here. And then there's the dividend yield, which is not going to be going away anytime soon. I'm sure they'll continue to increase it, and it's a really safe and defensive dividend. So if that is what you're looking for, look no further. And next up, I want to talk about some bullish and bearish points by analysts at Morningstar. Here's the first positive point. It's that they continue to heavily emphasize innovation and invest heavily in R&D, which is definitely something they need to do to stay on top. And then the next one is that the firm continues to benefit from its shared technology platforms, and they actually have a periodic table of shared technology. I'll show it on the next slide because it's kind of cool. And then the last one is that 3M is likely to profit from segments and geographies exposed to faster growing portions of the global GDP. So they're getting into developing economies and fast economies better than some of their peers are, which is really, really great for any company as well. And here is their 3M shared technology platforms. So they may be investing into R&D, into processing, and that'll end up helping materials. And then I'm sure digital and applications have a lot of shared technologies as well. So a lot of different shared technologies along the way that will help the company in one segment as well as another. And next up, I want to talk about some negative points. The first one is that 3M will struggle to attract the best and brightest scientists and engineers. And that's true. I don't think about the brightest scientists wanting to go work at 3M. I picture them wanting to go work at big tech, which is, Apple, Google, Facebook, and so on, or a company like Tesla especially. But I'm sure if 3M can put up the money, it will attract talent. And if you think about it, even if a company like maybe Waste Management or just some other not attractive company to the normal person posts a $300,000 salary, they're going to attract some really great talent regardless. And then the next point is talking about how their R&D efforts, even though they've been increasing the amount of capital going into it, haven't really been able to generate a lot of additional sales, which is really vital for them. And probably while they're not seeing a lot of growth, they definitely need to ramp up their R&D efforts. And then the last point is talking about how other people are coming into different industries, such as automotive, semiconductors, as well as inventory destocking. And other companies are coming in because they're really not ramping up their innovation. So that's going to be a huge problem for them if they don't fix that. And then the last little segment there is an economic slowdown in China, and unless I'm really not knowing about a recession in China right now, I think the entire world is seeing a bit of an economic slowdown, so I'm not exactly sure what that's about, but they do make a lot of their products in China, so I'm sure that is creating a big problem for them. And lastly, just wanted to show their research report overview. They were given 3 out of 5 stars, and honestly, I think that's partially because of their growth perspective. It's really not great, and they were only given a fair value of $166, and they're right around there, so not a 5-star rating. And then economic moat wide, even though they're not doing great in R&D, they do have a huge range of products. As I mentioned, several hundred products, and I'm sure a lot of those are patented, so they can't really be easily competed against unless the their rivals change the product a little bit. And then uncertainty medium, I would actually say low, just because of the points I just mentioned. And then stewardship is exemplary, and I actually don't know much about their top management. But that's always great to have really great heads of the company. I make tons of other brief stock analysis videos very similar to this one, so be sure to come and check it out if you did enjoy. Subscribe for more content, and thank you so much for watching to the very end.